this impermanent world that does not give one happiness, do you worship me? If those who are lowly born can attain liberation, and people to whom society say no can attain liberation, then why can those to whom society gives a high place, such as holy Brahmins, those with a lot of punyas, devotees, and devoted old saints, not also attain liberation? Of course they can attain liberation. Even those who are lowly born can attain liberation, and therefore every person can attain liberation. Akhandandaji has given a very nice commentary about the word Papa Yoni, lowly born, that was used in the last verse. If you know about Sanskrit definitions, and you know about the scripture, then you realize this. The great soul Akhandandaji says that in the 31st verse of this chapter, Shri Krishna uses the word Gunteya to address Arjuna. What does this mean, Gunteya? It means son of Kunti. In the 32nd verse, where the word Papa Yonaha, lowly born, was used, Shri Krishna uses the word Partha, meaning son of Putha, which is another name of Kunti, to address Arjuna. You know the story in the Mahabharata that Kunti and Putha are two different wives of the same person. I repeat it again. The Akhananda Saraswati gave this commentary so that nobody has a misunderstanding in their minds. The great soul Akhandandaji says that Shri Krishna is indirectly telling Arjuna that if one looks at it clearly, then Arjuna is lowly born. Why? Akhandandaji gives a reason. First of all, Arjuna is as Kunteya, the son of Kunti. What did Kunti do? Kunti became a mother before she got married. Let us leave this mistake. She made a mistake in her childhood. Let us leave it. Durvasa Muni gave her 6 spoons and 6 mantras from which she would get 1 son each. 1 son from each mantra. She asked for Karna and then put him into a wooden box floating in the river. He was raised by his foster mother named Radha and became known as Radhaya and son of Sudra, a person of service and labor. Then the rest of the sons were born not as descendants of Pandu, because it is clearly stated in the Mahabharata that Pandu did not have the ability to have any descendants. He was incapable of having children. Pandu is known even today as anemic, and Pandu Rog is a word for anemia in Ayurveda. He was not capable of having children. Then how did these descendants get born? There were 2 queens, Kunti and Putha. How did these sons get born? They were born as a result of a boon. Kunti asked for a boon from Dharmaraj, Yamdut, the god of death, from which she got Yudhishthir, and Indra, the king of the gods, from which she got Arjun. When one woman has relations like this, and she has sons, and not only that, but she gave 2 boons to Putha, and told her also obtain sons like her from the Ashwin Kumars. Is Arjun lowly born or not? Despite this, Shri Krishna tells him not to worry, because he will get liberation. This is an indirect suggestion where Shri Krishna addresses Arjun as Kunteya, the son of Kunti, and Partha, son of Putha. Shri Krishna uses these 2 names to address Arjun to give Arjun assurance. One should not take this point too seriously, because I've got to read this commentary and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Then why cannot those who are so-called highly born not attain liberation? Of course they can certainly attain liberation. Arjun has come so close to Shri Krishna, but how has he come so close? He has done so through devotion. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna later in the Gita that Mam Anusuya there. You are of divine nature, without faults and without sins. That is why Arjuna has come to Shri Krishna. That is why Arjuna would advance and develop. The second part of the 33rd verse is very beautiful. Shri Krishna calls the world Anitya, impermanent, and Asukam, something that does not give us happiness. Shri Krishna has used these 2 words to describe this world. Anitya, impermanent, and Asukam, something that does not give us happiness. The material world is fragile by time and impermanent. That which is not permanent is impermanent. Navitya iti anitya tvam anityam. Nothing in the material world lasts. If you really want to understand the material world in its true identity, then it can only be one thing. Put a sticker on a board on each and every object and each and every relationship saying that this is not going to last. One man has really done this in his house. When he does a new television, then people get very happy that a new television has come, but he has already made a sticker saying that this is not permanent. Each and everything in the world is perishable. It is not going to last. No relationship is going to last. The reason is that it is a characteristic of the material world that it is anityam, impermanent. There is a famous quote by Jesus Christ that the world is a bridge. Pass over it, but do not build upon it. A bridge is just there to help you pass across a river, and you cannot build a house on a bridge. If someone goes to build a house on a bridge, then it will be useless. It will not last. The material world is a bridge. The human body is a bridge between the womb of a creature and the womb of the Lord. It is a bridge to go to the Supreme Soul and to a divine birth, otherwise it is impermanent. Secondly, the material world is asukam, sorrowful. The majority of thinkers have showed the material world as something that gives sorrows, but Shri Krishna has used a very beautiful word to describe it. Asukham, sorrowful. He has not said that it is sorrowful directly, he has said that there is no happiness. Sukham means happiness, asukham is a negative prefix, says that there is no happiness in the material world. Why do sorrows arise in reality? It is because one does not get happiness that one gets sorrows. Shri Krishna is more correct in putting and explaining the world. The material world is not sorrowful. Sorrows come when one goes in search of happiness and does not get happiness. That is why sorrows come. Otherwise, the material world has no interest in making you unhappy. The material world is not sitting there to give you sorrows. It is because we go in search of happiness and do not get it that we get sorrows. It is because we go in search of happiness and do not get it that we get sorrows. This is the nature of the material world. The more efforts you make to look for happiness in the material world, the more sorrows you will get. Shri Krishna said it very clearly that the material world is asukham, something that does not give us happiness. One will not get happiness in the material world. The moment when one gets rid of their expectation for happiness, then there will be nobody happier than this person. This is the nature of the material world. We go around begging everywhere, not for money, but for feelings and for happiness. The moment when we stop begging, then we become kings. Swami Ramtit, very, very great saint in Indian culture, a jewel in the Indian saint tradition, has a very famous poem. Taga hi chinta miti, manma betava, jisko kachu na chaye, wo shaho kasha. Gone are the worries that sprung from the desires of the mind. One who does not want anything is a king of all kings. When one has a wish of getting something, for something to happen to him, or his expectations that one will be happy, only when certain things will happen, then he is the best architect of his own hell. He makes his own hell for himself when he thinks that he will be happy when he gets a certain thing. He will not get happiness, and Shri Krishna says this very clearly. What is sukh, happiness? Sukh, happiness, is split into two parts, su and ka. Sutam hidayam gaganam yasmat tat sukham. In Sanskrit terminology, ka in sukh means the sky. When we're looking at the five gross elements in chapter 7 of the Gita, which are the earth, fire, wind, water, wind, fire and ether, we saw that kam means the sky. Tam mano buddhi revacha. Su means sushtu, beautiful. That from which the sky becomes beautiful is sukh, happiness. By sky, we do not mean the sky outside, but the sky in our hearts. Therefore, that from which the sky in our hearts becomes beautiful is sukh, happiness. Hridayam gaganam. When does the beauty of the sky go away? When does the purity of the sky go away? And when does the thing from which the sky gets purity go away? Shustu means beautiful or pure. When does the purity of the sky go away? This is when a lot of clouds gather in the sky, when there's a lot of dirt floating around in the sky, or when the wind or the hurricane are blowing strongly. When all of this happens, then the purity of the sky goes away. When all of these impurities are removed, the sky becomes cloudless and beautiful. In the same way, even in the sky of the heart, many clouds are gathered together, and many wrong and useless thoughts create a hurricane that is blowing around. A hurricane is such that you cannot control it. In the sky of our hearts, when we have worries, filthy thoughts, and wrong thoughts, from which a hurricane is blowing around, then we do not get happiness. This is the very definition of sorrows, that from which the sky in the form of our hearts becomes bad, denatured, and dirty. Dushyam kam dukam kam hridayam gaganam yasat tat dukam. These are the types of thoughts and feelings from which one gets sorrows. Then what is sukham, happiness? It is one thing, and that's the name of God. That is why God is saying here that having entered this impermanent world, one does not get happiness, do you worship me? One will only get sukham, happiness, when one finds the permanent thing beyond the impermanent material world, and the permanent thing is God. There are sorrows in this world, and one cannot get happiness in this world, so where can one find sukham, happiness? One can get sukham, happiness, only by worshipping God, by performing penances of God, and by performing devotion to God. Only then can one get sukham, happiness. The reason why there are sorrows in the material world is because people are looking for happiness. On a majority of occasions, three things give us a false sense of happiness, but they ultimately take us towards sorrows. The first thing out of these is that we perform activities in order to find happiness on the outside. If I were to say in simple language, then we wish to forever remain young. That wish to forever remain young is a reason for sorrows. By young, I do not mean young in the body. When one wishes that everything great that one has stays with one forever, this grip that one has is a reason for sorrows in the material world. The reason for this is that people think that they have the thing and that they should have it forever. For example, a man buys a woman a necklace, and a woman likes it very much and thinks that it should remain on her neck forever and should not go anywhere else. It will go in 2 hours. But when one thinks that the necklace should always stay with them, then this is a wish to forever remain young. By young, I do not mean just in terms of the body, but it means the wish that whatever one has should remain with them forever. I've often heard many people say that when children are young, then it's fun in playing with them, but not when they're older. Will the child just remain young forever, just for you, so you can have fun? If you find this laughable, then the scriptures say it is as much laughable that we grab hold of matter and objects because one has a feeling that the thing that gives one pleasure should always remain the way it is. This is the first expectation for happiness, and from this we create sorrows in the material world. Secondly, the expectation to be saved from death is a reason for sorrows. How can one be saved from death? It is not possible to be saved from death, yet we make efforts to try and achieve this. Of course we can postpone death a little. We read about the story of Bhattacharya, Buddha's great disciple, in the last class, early in this chapter. We can postpone death a little, but how can we be saved from death? Human beings make efforts to try and achieve this, and that is why they get sorrows. The moment when human beings accept death, and again I would say that death not just of the body, but of everything such as relations either with objects, peoples, thoughts, or circumstances, as all things will die, then one does not get sorrows in the material world. Thirdly, when we try to hold on to relations of love, then this is a relation for sorrows. The Socrates says, one who loves suffers. Trying to hold on to relations of loves leads to so many expectations and so much investment of feelings towards just one person whom we love. When that person puts his load to the sea and walks away, then it leads to such a big shock. It is a reason for sorrows when one tries to hold on to relations of love. I like one song from Sahara Ljubljana very much, and it came up in a film once. I say that there are many relations are such that for afsana jise anjam tak lana na mumkin un ek khubsurat mor dekh kar chorna acha. That beautiful moment that one cannot bring back from the dead is good to leave behind, but just seeing the story, that moment as a beautiful moment. Sahara can say this, but how many people out of you and I can do this? This is the power of poetry, where it uses the words khubsurat mor, beautiful moment. We all give ugly moments, and we can easily cut these out, but we should see these as beautiful moments and leave them behind. But we always try to grab hold onto them in some way or the other. We hold on to them like a clove, and from this we get sorrows. It's a very big power to leave things that very few people know about. We are holding on to things because we keep thinking about what we put into it. In order to look after our investments or feelings in the past, we do not even know how much feelings in the future we are blocking out. Kachalal was walking along sucking something, and while he was walking sucking something, he was making gulping sounds. He drank 2 to 4 bottles, not glasses of water, yet he kept sucking something and making gulping sounds. It's something small and red. A person asked him, Kachalal, what are you sucking? Kachalal said that he was sucking a cherry in a box full of them. The person asked him how he could make gulping sounds and have to drink water after eating cherries. The person told him he must be making a mistake, and Kachalal replied that they were definitely cherries and he bought them for £50 for half a kilo's worth. The person saw that they were red chilies. Kachalal had been eating chilies. The person told Kachalal these were not cherries but chilies. Kachalal said, no, they are cherries because I picked them myself. The person told him that they were chilies because every time he ate them, he was making gulping sounds, and no matter how much water Kachalal would drink, it would not get rid of the burn in his mouth. The person told Kachalal to throw them away. Kachalal said that he had bought 50 rupees worth. This is the state of all of us. Once we have bought 50 rupees worth, then we all have this gulping and endure difficulties. This 50 rupees has gone away, but why are we still suffering for it? We just cannot let go of it. The consequence of this is that sorrows keep arising. The material world is anitya, impermanent, and asukam. It does not give us happiness. Shri Krishna tells Arjun that because Arjun has entered into this material world, he should worship the Supreme Soul. Great saints on the one side use the words idam tucham, sorrowful in their commentary, to state that the material world is sorrowful, but saints on the other side, and this is the interpretation I like, say that it is not idam tucham, but imam prapya, having entered. In Sanskrit, the verb that is used means that the material world is so handy, so near, and it shows the importance of this human life on this earth. Because one has been born as a human being in this world, imapapya meaning having entered, it is very important. Shri Krishna is therefore telling Arjun that he has reached so far, and therefore he should worship the Supreme Soul. Arjun has climbed 9 out of the 10 steps on the ladder, and therefore he should go on to the 10th step, and he will reach by holding on to Shri Krishna's hand. That is why Shri Krishna says, Imam Papya Mam Bhajasvya. Having entered into his world, do you worship me? Not doing this is like coming to London to travel for a week to 10 days and not seeing the Houses of Parliament, or going to Mumbai to travel for a week to 10 days and not seeing the Gateway of India. If one has come all the way to Mumbai, then they should see the Gateway of India. Imam Prapya Mam Bhajasya. Having entered into this material world, do you worship me? This is very important. God is building a pillar and telling Arjun, look, you have passed through so many bodies of insects, birds and animals, and finally reached a human body. Just climb this last step and worship me, then you'll reach me. Shri Krishna shows the importance of the human life. Imam Prapya Mam Bhajasya. Having entered into this world, do you worship me? The reason for this is that one has come so far to get a human birth, and they should therefore be careful that this, the world of humans, where one has come to this earth, it is impermanent and it does not give one happiness. Having come so far, one should not remain stuck there, and one should worship the Supreme Soul. That is what Shri Krishna is showing. This world is anitya, impermanent. John Paul Sartre, who's heard of John Paul Sartre? Anyone that philosophy? He's done a lot of great work of existentialism. Those who have read his work will know that Sartre said that the life of human beings is filled with sorrows. His quote is that man is condemned to be free. There are sorrows in the lives of human beings for two reasons. The first is that human beings do not have any freedom in deciding their births, and the second is that human beings do not have any escape from death. Before we are born, somebody does not come up to us and ask us whether we wish to be born. There are the two reasons why human beings have sorrows. The first is that human beings do not have any freedom in deciding their births, and the second is that human beings do not have any escape from death. Fair enough, we were born and nobody asked us about it, but it would be nice if death did not come, but death always comes. Therefore nobody asks us when we came, and nobody asks us when we go. What kind of world is this? Somebody takes us and places us into a situation in which we are born and tells us to sit there for 2 hours. It is fine that they have taken us there and brought us there, but why do they not give us the freedom to go away from there? We are not allowed to leave there until 8:30 comes. Will we not get sorrows because of this? Only that, but even if we wish to sit for half an hour after 7 p.m. and are told to go out because our time has come, we do not have any freedom in choosing our deaths either, and we do not have any escape from death. This is sorrow. Sartre says that because of this, the life of a human being becomes a tragic reality. It is a reality, but it is a tragic reality. This is the word from Sartre's existentialism. Shri Krishna says that if you wish to come out of the tragic reality, then you should worship him. If you come to the refuge of the Supreme Soul, then Esham Brahmishiti Pata Neyam Papa Vimuyati. After reaching the state of Brahman, one does not remain deluded. The material world may be anitya, impermanent, and asukam, it does not give us happiness, but nevertheless, it is a very nice level from which it is possible for one to attain the Supreme Soul. If I were to use a simple example, then I can say that when there is a fair in a town, and there's a Ferris wheel there, everybody knows that it's set for 5 minutes in the Ferris wheel, and it keeps going up and down for so long. It is not permanent. It is anitya, impermanent, and asukam. It does not give us happiness. Because we get the imagination initially that it will give us happiness, but our stomachs keep grumbling when we sit on it. The Ferris wheel is such that we get happiness in sorrows because it goes up and down and we start screaming. There is a happiness and sorrows in the Ferris wheel. I keep on telling a friend of mine about this, and said that when the Ferris wheel goes up, then there is a mango tree next to it, and one can break a mango from its branch. Then there is a sweet taste in that mango, and there is fun in this. In the same way, we sit in the world in the form of a Ferris wheel, and it is anitya, impermanent. Asukam, it does not give us happiness, and everything else. But after coming into this Ferris wheel, when one attains a human life, it is possible for one to break the mango in the form of attainment of the Supreme Soul. You have to get the right moment, because the Ferris wheel keeps turning and turning. You have to catch the right moment. Rangasati said to Banbhai, Vidina Jankare Mutira Paro Banbhai, Achanak Andare Abhishek. The lightning will come bringing pearls Banbhai, but suddenly the darkness will go away. Sunshine comes out and one wears the pearls, but one is not able to tell how much darkness will come over again. One can only get happiness in the Supreme Soul, and that is why one should worship the Supreme Soul. One may then have the question of how one can worship the Lord. This is answered by Shri Krishna in the next verse, which is the last verse of this chapter at last. Shri Krishna says in the 4th verse of this chapter of how one can attain him. Last verse.